concludes all operations of the emergency alert system. All stations may now resume regular programming.
For expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
Okay, so there's a pervasive legend in India of a secret organization that allegedly has a vast amount of advanced knowledge in their possession, believed to have been formed over 2,000 years ago. The 9 unknown men is widely suspected of manipulating political and societal trends in order to further the personal goals of the 9. But is such a secret organization a reality, or is it merely the stuff of legend? So the theory is that these books of knowledge have been stolen or passed on to other secret societies, and they have been used for nefarious purposes, as you are about to find out. This was the exact opposite of what the original members wanted: fact, fiction, legend, or truth. Your guess is as good as mine. However, it's an interesting tale, and well worth a few minutes to look into. Now, I'm going to do my best with the names, so if I mispronounce something, you're going to have to deal with it. The Society of the 9 Unknown Men was formed shortly after 226 BC by Emperor Oshaka, the grandson of the legendary emperor who unified the Indian subcontinent. Chandragupta Ashoka was anxious to uphold his grandfather's legacy and maintain the empire. In the region between Calcutta and Madras, the Kalingans resisted the imperial rule, leading to an all-out war. Oshaka's vastly superior forces are said to have killed over 100,000 of Kalinga's warriors and deported over 150,000 of the region's villagers. Even though he had won the war, Oshaka was aghast at the carnage such a victory entailed. From then on, he swore off violence forever. Emperor Oshaka is best known for his conversion to Buddhism and his efforts to spread the peaceful religion throughout India, as well as Malaya, Ceylon, and Indonesia. His efforts contributed to Buddhism's rise in China, Nepal, Tibet, and Mongolia. Oshaka was a sworn vegetarian, but he did not force others to do likewise. And some people in the US could take note of that. Anyway, indeed, he was incredibly tolerant of other religious sects. He did, however, prohibit the consumption of alcohol. More importantly, he renounced the idea of trying to integrate the rebellious people, declaring that the only true conquest was to win men's hearts by observance of the laws of duty and piety, because the sacred majesty desired that all living creatures should enjoy security, peace, and happiness, and to be free to live as they pleased. So committed was Oshaka to this mission that he sought to prevent his fellow man from putting their intelligence towards perpetrating evil, particularly the evil involved with warfare. The task of collecting, preserving, and containing all knowledge was too great for one emperor to do alone, not the least because of all the other duties required in ruling an empire. So what did he do? Well, Oshaka summoned 9 of the most brilliant minds in India. For security purposes, the identity of these men was never made public. Together, these geniuses formed a secret society that came to be known as the 9 Unknown Men. So the organization set up accumulating all the scientific knowledge they could, from natural science to psychology to the composition of matter, fearing that if ordinary men were given access to this scientific knowledge, that they would use it for destruction. Only the 9 men were allowed to study and develop scientific theories and technology. To better accomplish this daunting task, each of the 9 was charged with one specific book that he was to update, revise, and ultimately perfect the knowledge therein. Now, when one of the 9 could no longer complete the task, whether from the wish to retire, fading health, or death, the obligation was passed on to a chosen successor. The number of members in this secret society was always meant to be 9. Thus, the Society of the 9 Unknown Men has allegedly lived on for over 2,000 years. Speculation about the contents of each of the 9 books varies widely. Talbot Mundy, an English writer, published a book entitled The 9 Unknown Men in 1923, which contained a list of the 9 books, and this list has come to be generally accepted. The first book, Propaganda, The first book dealt with techniques of propaganda and psychological warfare, and I quote, "The most dangerous of all sciences is that of molding mass opinion, because that would enable anyone to govern the entire world." Now, that sounds very poignant to our current situation, don't you think? Anyway, the second book discussed physiology and explains how to kill a person simply by touching him or her, known as the touch of death, simply by the reversal of a nerve impulse. It is said that the martial art of judo is the result of leakages from the second book. The third volume focused on microbiology and biotechnology. Again, that's very poignant to our current world situation. The fourth book dealt with alchemy and transmutation of metals. According to another legend, in times of severe drought, temples and religious relief organizations received large quantities of gold from a quote-unquote secret source. The fifth book contained a study of all the means of communication, terrestrial and extraterrestrial, alluding to the fact that at the time the 9 unknown men were aware of the alien presence. The sixth book focused on secrets of gravitation and actually had instructions on how to make the ancient Vedic Vimana, which is a craft that was rumored to be in use in ancient civilizations. The seventh book contained information about cosmology and the matters of the universe. The eighth book dealt with light, including the speed and how to use it as a weapon. Now the ninth and final book discussed sociology. It included rules for the evolution of societies and the means for foretelling their decline. But were the 9 unknown men real? Oshaka very well may have asked 9 men of unknown identities to gather scientific knowledge, particularly in regards to the application of warfare. This was a very fractious time, and other emperors have been known to order similar initiatives. These men may have explored different empires, battle tactics and training, weapons and manufacturing, horse and elephant handling, and maybe even gunpowder usage. However, an ancient group living on in secrecy for over 2,000 years, controlling global events from the remote jungles of India, with not a hint of modern equipment, infrastructure, or technology is pretty hard to believe. For many, the legend is, more than likely, just a legend. So yeah, although it may only be a legend, the theory is that these books have been subverted, stolen, used for nefarious reasons, and are now in the possession of other secret societies. Fact, fiction, legend, or truth, your guess is as good as mine. However, it was an interesting tale, and I think it was worth a few minutes to look into it. So be sure to check out the video that's coming out next. We have to talk about some crazy things that are poignant to our current reality. Although I suppose, depending on how you look at it, this topic could also fit that category. Anyway, once again, this is HelioWave. If you like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if you want to, but in your everyday life, make sure you disobey those true fascistas. And of course, I hope you have a good night.